Well, ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you to Calgar Gymnasium for the SCAC Championship semifinals. A huge matchup today between the scorching hot Trinity Tigers and the Austin College Kangaroos. I'm Ryan Figert, and I'm joined on the call today by Brian Yanselson. Brian, you got a chance to watch the quarterfinal game for Trinity, one they narrowly took over Schreiner. What can you say about this team on a 9-game win streak?
Yeah, Ryan, it is great to be here for a big day of basketball on Trinity's campus. And the men's basketball team, like you mentioned, coming off a close win over Schreiner. It was a back-and-forth affair, really tight till the end, but they pulled it off as the top seed, and now they are ready to face Austin College, who pulled off their own upset over Southwestern in Georgetown. And Austin College will have to pull off another road upset if they want to keep going and face St. Thomas in the championship game.
Yeah, you mentioned St. Thomas taking the other semifinal yesterday, 67-58 over Centenary. And so they will host if Austin College is able to win today. Otherwise, we'll be back here in Calgar Gymnasium next weekend for the SCAC Championship Final. That's certainly what we hope for here on the Tiger Network. As the teams break out of their final huddles, you see Coach of the Year Jimmy Smith announced this week, sharing the award and winning it with a second school. First person ever to do that in the SCAC. Previously won it twice with TLU. And we are all set to go. The starting five for Austin College: Joe, Dick, Clemens, Holland, and Jones Jr. For Trinity: Seiki, Hanley, Jenkins, Clark, and Roberts. A familiar five. Clark's the one that controls the tip, and he dumps it off to Caleb Jenkins, the SCAC Player of the Year. So many accolades going to this Trinity team, and rightfully so. They're scorching hot, Brian.
Yeah, they had a close loss at the very beginning of the year to St. Thomas, and they've rattled off 9 in a row since then.
Going the other way after an early turnover, it's going to be a foul against Joe. Jenkins with a incidental trip that prevented an easy 2 points for the Kangaroos. Inbound under the baseline now with 20 seconds gone. Maybe a little nervy on that first possession for Trinity as Roberts threw it away. And this will be the first look offensively for the Kangaroos.
Last week we saw a pretty quick and frantic pace at the start, so I definitely agree with you that there are some nerves here. Big semifinal matchup.
This one's tied up after Clark came across to poke the ball away from Jones Jr. on the block. It stays with Austin College. Possession arrow flips to Trinity. Seiki, the one guarding the inbounds pass. It comes in to Holland. Holland didn't play in the earlier matchup between these two teams this season, one that Trinity took comfortably. And we're going to get a travel call, another turnover, this time coming from Clemens for the visitors. Hanley inbounds to Clark. That Trinity backcourt really consisting of all three, Hanley, Jenkins, and Clark. Comfortable ball handlers and combine well. This time, though, Jenkins and Clark get tangled up. Stays with Trinity. Roberts in the high post. Goes down low for Seiki, who draws contact from Clemens. And it'll be an inbounds play under the basket for Trinity. A lot of early fouls here.
Yeah, and Seiki looks to be the goal to get the ball to him early on. He scored 18 points in last week's game against Schreiner. Second on the team behind A.J. Clark, who had 22.
Hanley pulls for three, and Trinity are the first on the board. Left wing three from Ben Hanley, who was named honorable mention for the second straight year in the conference. He's played the most minutes a game for Coach Smith this season, almost 28. And he's got 3 points here on the board for the Tigers early on. On the dribble, Dick gets to the left hand. Good work from him to get the left-handed layup. Split the Trinity defense easily there, the Houston native.
Dick also getting the All-SCAC honorable mention like Hanley.
Clark, handoff to Seiki. Top of the key now. Seiki through the legs dribble, step back jumper from the foul line, no good. Rebound though, initially looked like it was bobbled by Dick. Last touch off of Hanley. No real rhythm early in this game as Trinity has a 3-2 lead.
Yeah, but there's a lot of talent on this court, Ryan. 6 of the 10 starters on both teams, some sort of all-SCAC honors. So should be a good one as we get started here at Calgar Gym.
Jenkins applying the pressure against Joe. A.J. Clark comes over to double, and the Roos do turn it over. Now Clark can take it the other way. Glides past one defender, kicks it out to Jenkins. Pump fakes the corner three. The long two is just too strong. Very smooth there from Clark to get the steal and get a good look for Jenkins. Corner three this time from Austin College, comes up short. And Jenkins, rough start for him. A lot of expectations maybe placed on him by that SCAC Player of the Year award midweek.
Yeah, and last week Jenkins only scoring 11 points, but Trinity still pulling off the win, so that shows the depth of this team when their best player doesn't come up. He was coming off a 30-point performance at the end of the regular season, so we'll see if that award helps or hurts his confidence.
Yeah, Trinity had to face someone that almost scored 30 points in De Hoyos for Schreiner, put up a career day in the loss. Turnaround jumper, and it's good. Austin College takes the lead for the first time today. Michael Holland. Easily breaking the pressure is Jenkins. Hanley to the corner for three. Roberts off the mark. Long rebound is last off of Seiki, who runs into an Austin College bench player there. Got a face full of Enzo Seiki. Jenkins nearly steals the inbounds pass. Joshua Joe controls it. Pulled up his dribble there in the backcourt, but Austin College can now get into their offensive set. 4-3 here, early action in the SCAC semifinals.
Interesting to see both teams apply some sort of full court pressure right from the beginning here.
Joe takes the pass, gets to his spot on the foul line, and three Trinity players contesting each other for the rebound. It's Clark that comes down with it, looking to go quickly the other way. Hanley slicing into the lane, draws the contact. They'll say that Hanley was the one that committed the foul, going the other way now. Looked like he just got ahead of steam as you see the replay. Although that right foot is sliding from the lane. He did take it in the chest, and the theme of early fouls continues, this one of the offensive variety. Jenkins and Hanley pressuring in the backcourt. Joe now on the right wing, driving right at A.J. Clark. Kicks it out for a slicing Tristan Dick, who once again gets to the left hand, and that's looked strong for him early in the game. 2 layups from the left side. Seiki, strong this time from Enzo Seiki. Couple of dribbles and puts the layup. Kicks it out as we see the acrobatic slicing from Tristan Dick. He's the one that commits the foul at the other end.
I think if Seiki heads to the line, this is a key to watch in this game for Trinity. They shoot just 66% from the free throw line on the year. They did shoot 76.5% from the line last week, so a big improvement from their average of 66. And in a tough game like this one, every point will count.
Tanner Brown into the game for the first time for Trinity. He's been a key contributor off the bench and was able to pick up a SCAC second team award despite not starting any games this year. First year guard has had really good shooting performances for Trinity. A.J. Clark now looking to get an easy 2 points off the Caleb Jenkins steal, and he's able to do so on his stronger left hand. Trinity regains the lead 7-6. Great dump off pass from Holland, an easy finish for Jones Jr. And we see Saw back in front now. Jenkins looks to do it himself, draws contact on the drive. Jason Jones Jr. commits the foul. And there will be a quick timeout here as Austin College with the early 8-7 lead. You see the stats on your screen. A game looking to find its rhythm. We'll be back in just a moment. Welcome me back here. 8-7 in the early action for Austin College. Trinity ball underneath the basket. Tristan Dick leading the way scoring for Austin College with a couple of layups, 4 points to his name. The inbounds pass is looking for Tanner Brown. It's tipped away by Dick. Brown does track it down eventually. And now the Tigers have some space to operate. A.J. Clark finds the space in the middle of the lane, and his shot missed, but Enzo Seiki got the right-handed tip in. 9-8 now to the Tigers. High pace action here early on. Dick stumbles, gets to the left hand, and his fadeaway jumper no good. Rebound was controlled by Seiki, who drew contact. Second foul against Jalen Clements, and I think he'll quickly check out of the game. Nope, it's Dick that takes a seat. Here Clements letting his coach know that he's the one that has two. Rodney Wecker most likely well aware. Just entrusting his player to play through it. The junior forward out of Sherman, Texas. Hometown player for the Roos. Seiki steps back, finds the pass to Hanley. Let's go back to Seiki, space in the lane. Bobbled it on the way up, but managed to control it once again. Now it's Hanley cutting into the lane, getting the right-handed floater away. Tough shot, no good. Rebound again. This time Tanner Brown picks up the loose ball and puts it up for an easy two. Look what I found, he says.
And a second consecutive possession for Trinity that they get the offensive rebound and are able to put it up for the points.
Brown now chasing wrong side of his defender. Good help side play from A.J. Clark, and Brown comes away with the steal. Joe, the only one that can do anything about it, but the right-handed lay-in for Tanner Brown. A couple of consecutive makes for him, and the Tigers open up a 5-point lead here. Timeout Austin College. A.J. Clark, and Brown comes away with the steal. Joe, the only one that can do anything about it. Electricity off the bench from Tanner Brown has Trinity out in front by 5. A couple of consecutive layups from him off the offensive rebound and off the steal. A.J. Clark overzealous there as Joe rips through and draws the foul.
Yeah, Ryan, you talked about Tanner Brown earning the All-SCAC second team honor despite not starting a single game, but you can see why he got that honor. Comes off the bench and provides an immediate spark for the Tigers. He leads the team this year, shooting 59.7% from the field.
And a lot of those are three-pointers as well. He's one of the best sharpshooters in the conference. At that time, it was an easy lay-in. Seiki defending down low. Shooting over the top of him was Jones Jr. Offensive rebound controlled by the Roos. And Jonathan Lawrence draws contact on his shot. He'll head to the line.
And right there, now we see it on Austin College's side, how key the offensive rebounding is. Trinity has 2 offensive rebounds, and they scored off of both of those, and now Austin College gets their first offensive rebound, and they head to the free throw line.
2 shots for Jonathan Lawrence.
Lawrence will have 2 attempts here. First one is in and out. And into the game, Christian Goodman for the Roos. Jones Jr., or Joe, excuse me, will depart. Lots of J's in this Austin College roster. Jason Jones Jr. How about that? He's on the bench at the moment. 0 for 2 at the line there for Goodman. And a beautiful bounce pass from Hanley. But Jenkins is going to be called for an offensive foul. Clemens drawing the contact there. Not the first time that the Roos have drawn a charge. Making the hustle plays here to stay in touch with Trinity.
And something that Austin College does not want to see is what they saw on their last trip, 2 missed free throws. They shoot the second worst free throw percentage in the conference at just 61.3, and another turnover here forced by the Tigers, and Jenkins lays it up and in.
Yeah, heads-up play from Clark there. Once he got the steal, he just flicked it ahead. He had two players running past him. And they get the easy two off of it. Now a 7-point lead. Good handles from Luera as he kicks it out to Goodman. Now the jumper from the free throw line, and it falls for the substitute. Oh, no, that was Michael Holland, excuse me, who also grabs the rebound at the other end.
And Holland was demanding the ball on that last possession. You can see why. Drove in for the jump shot, was able to put it in, draw the Roos to within 5.
This time it's a drive to the left side of the basket from Goodman. Continues to struggle, and it's the Tigers' number 3 running the floor. Ben Hanley lays it in with the right hand. 5 points now in the game for him.
Tigers very comfortable running the open floor. Several fast break points now.
Goodman, another miss there from close. And now Trinity can get out in the open court. As you mentioned, once again, it's back to Clark from Hanley, and it's 2 points for Trinity. And it's another timeout for Rodney Wecker and the Kangaroos. You see A.J. Clark filling the stat sheet early on. 4 points, 2 boards, 3 assists in just 7 minutes of early action here. We'll take the timeout with them as Trinity leads 19-10. Trinity can get out in the open court. As you mentioned, once again, it's back to Clark from Hanley, and it's 2 points for Trinity. So no changes to the lineup out of the timeout for Trinity, as they are opening up a lead here in the first half. Now a 9-point advantage. Tristan Dick back into the game for the Roos. He's got 4 points. Holland spins, and his jumper comes up way short. Thought there might have been some contact there in terms of a block for Trinity. Dump off pass to Seiki. Strong move into the lane, and he lays it up. Jenkins and Seiki, the 2 transfer players for Trinity coming into this season. Seiki from UCCS, Colorado, at the Division II level. And Jenkins from Millsaps came alongside Coach Smith. Both have had a huge impact, Brian, on this Trinity team.
Yeah, absolutely, and as well Coach Smith transferring in a coach's sense from Millsaps along with Jenkins, so lots of fresh blood on the Tigers team that has clearly resulted in their top seed, their first since the 2012-13 season.
See the stats as we head into yet another timeout. Trinity 21-10, shooting very well. 9 of 15, lots of layups in transition have led to such a good shooting percentage. Just 2 attempts from 3 for either team. Hanley, the only one that made one for the Tigers. And 0 of 2 at the free throw line for Goodman on the Roos side. 2 of 2 for Trinity, who have double the rebounds of Austin College so far and also have taken the ball away 4 times.
And on those rebounds, a lot of them have been off of long misses that have allowed the Tigers to get out and run, and they've been able to do whatever they want on the open floor. Really been a key to this quick start for the Tigers.
Austin College, the number 5 seed in this year's tournament. Last year, they fell in the semifinal round against TLU, who they beat twice in the regular season. That would have been a disappointment for Coach Wecker, who's in his 14th season. His most successful year was back in 2009. And they went 20-7. This year they're 5-5 and 2 of 4 away. 0 of 1 here in Calgary Gymnasium, as the 2 teams played only one of their scheduled 2 games due to weather, but Trinity was able to take it comfortably, although Michael Holland didn't play in that game for the Roos. We're back underway here. A.J. Clark, left wing. Ben Hanley, top of the key. They look to go to Seiki, as they have early and often in this game. Seiki with the turnaround J, and he gets the kind roll from the home rim. Now a 13-point lead. Austin College have given up a 6-0 run over the last minute. Dick, pump fake, and contact down by the feet with Seiki, who's called for the trip. making an 8-0 run for Trinity over the last almost 2 minutes. As the inbounds pass comes to Dick, he goes to Holland, the senior. He's hoping to lead his team to a SCAC final for the first time in his career. His last opportunity, Jenkins through the legs pass back to A.J. Clark for the trailing three, comes up short. Two Tigers competing for the offensive rebound, but A.J. Clark was back on the case to force yet another turnover on the full court pass as Trinity will make a sub here. Jack Williams comes in for Enzo Seiki.
Great effort there from Clark, missing a three, but not thinking about it for 1 second, getting back on defense and preventing the Kangaroos from getting an easy bucket.
Jenkins up against Joe. Brown finds A.J. Clark. He's got his head up, always looking for a teammate. Straight off the bench, Jack Williams pulls for the long two. That one's off the mark. A couple of empty trips down the floor for Trinity in a row. As that was good work down low, grabbing the offensive board and putting it back up and in. Jason Jones Jr., first year out of Houston, Texas, originally from Germany. Holland now, after the Trinity turnover, can't get the left-handed layup to go. It was good defense by Clark again. And Hanley's looking to drive straight away. Ball's poked away from him by Joshua Joe. Stays Trinity ball, 25 seconds to shoot. Rex King into the game. Inbounds pass to Brown again. Dick trying to deny the ball into Trinity's best shooter. He's able to come up with it nonetheless. Jenkins called for another offensive foul. Second against him. He struggled to get going so far. Offensively, at least. You see him just lower the shoulder there, and Jones Jr. makes sure to sell the contact.
And those offensive fouls are something we saw last week for Trinity against Schreiner. In fact, Schreiner got called for a flop in the first half. They had already drawn a couple offensive fouls, and they got a couple more in the second half, but that was definitely something Schreiner was focusing on defensively. Gotta wonder if Austin College is pushing that same message.
Yeah, for a team that drives as much as Trinity does, you have to be sure to be getting in the right positions to draw those offensive fouls, as they have done so far. Joe. And this time it was Ashton Owens who was trying to draw the offensive contact. He's in the game now. But he was not in the right position. And it'll be a blocking foul. Austin College in the bonus. They'll head to the line, trailing by 11. One and one here. As I say, it wasn't any active shooting for Joe. And he gets the kind bounce off the front rim and the backboard. So get another opportunity. The first free throw of the 1-and-1, so crucial for Austin College in this game. They can't let those opportunities go to waste.
Yeah, maybe something to get Joe going here as he puts up his second free throw and is able to make it. He scored 16 points in Austin College's victory last week over Southwestern, but those are his first 2 points of the game.
Yeah, Holland also coming up with a big performance, 20 points and 6 rebounds and 3 assists for the Roos in that win over Southwestern. Shot over 50% as a team so far, at 35% in this game, as we're about a quarter of the way through, and Jack Williams is called for a travel. We've got 2 starters out there at the moment for the Tigers, Clark and Hanley. No surprise, as they play the most minutes per game for Coach Smith. Out there with Brown, Owens, and Williams. Tristan Dick setting up the offense for the Roos. King comes with the screen. Opts not to use it. Thought about the long three, then goes to Rex King on the block. Holland looking to get down low, working over the top of Ashton Owens. His shot's off the mark. And a beautiful left-handed pass from A.J. Clark, but it was Tristan Dick coming across to block it. Hanley denied at the rim, and the Roos go the other way.
Austin College now responding a little bit better, getting back defensively, not allowing those easy baskets that Trinity was getting early in this first half.
Holland loves to go back down his defender. This time, though, he kicks out for the three. Jonathan Lawrence off the mark. No three-point makes so far in the game for the Roos. Holland tracking back. Came up with the ball, but his momentum took him out of bounds, and he couldn't throw it off Ashton Owens. And there'll be another sub for Coach Smith as Jalen White comes into the game, sophomore from St. Louis. Hometown of Trinity women's standout Haley Coleman, who we'll see in action later today. The 4 o'clock tip-off between these two same teams, but a very different narrative in that game as Austin College was the preseason conference favorite on the women's side, but also were the 5 seed coming into the tournament. So that'll be an interesting game, one that the Trinity women won earlier in the season, similar to the men. We're back underway here. Tanner Brown kicks it out to White in the corner. Jab step, gets into the lane, draws contact on Jones Jr. And he'll head to the line. Good energy off the bench that time from Jalen White.
Yeah, and last game, White also came in just for 4 minutes, but he put up 4 points in those 4 minutes, made both his shot attempts. So as soon as he came off the bench here already, providing some nice energy.
Yeah, and he's a player that's missed his first free throw here, but he's a player that has built up his minutes over the season as he slowly earned the trust of Coach Smith, and performances off the bench, like you mentioned last game, will certainly help him to get on the floor more often. 1 of 2 at the line for Jalen White. Trinity still haven't scored a field goal, though, in the last 3 minutes after a hot start. That'll at least put a point on the board for the Tigers. Their defense, though, standing strong at the moment as they hold a 10-point lead. Jones Jr. inside, flicks it towards the rim. Rebound secured by Ben Hanley, who was called for a carry. You don't see that often. He was dealing with the attentions of Jonathan Lawrence, and we are under 8 here. So Trinity holding a 24-14 advantage. We'll head to a quick timeout and be right back on the Tiger Network. See the tournament bracket there on your screen. As Trinity defeated Schreiner, Austin College victorious over Southwestern to set up this semifinal. Winner will go on to play against the University of St. Thomas, who were eligible for the SCAC tournament this season because there's no NCAA tournament. So the conference opting to allow the Celts to participate, and they're taking full advantage. And the probationary window as they change divisions from the NAIA to Division III. They're awaiting the winner of this one. Currently Trinity with a 10-point advantage as White grabs a steal, easily intercepts the pass, bounce pass to Hanley, who gives it right back. Unselfish basketball from Ben Hanley. 2 points for Jalen White.
The first field goal for Trinity in 4 minutes, and Austin College not able to take advantage up to this point of the scoring drought. Still down 12.
And still can't hit a 3 as Jones Jr. controls the offensive rebound. We get a look at this give and go down low. Hanley back to White. Easy bucket. And you mentioned Austin College getting more bodies back in transition, but Trinity in response getting 3 bodies forward there as there was options aplenty for Hanley. He had the ball back to White. He had Brown going out as well for maybe an open look from 3. He could have even gone himself. Made the right decision as Jones gets a very kind bounce off the back of the rim. Strange one, that. But he'll get another opportunity because of it. As I mentioned earlier, coming out of a American school in Germany. Lists Houston, Texas as his hometown, as do many of the Kangaroo players. Rebound secured by Williams after a 1 of 2 trip to the line for Jones Jr. Hanley wants to go back to Williams. Trinity trying to get into the post as often as they can. Now driving into the lane, kicking out to Owens for 3 from the left side, too strong. That one contested by Loera. And Holland slicing through the lane, and they'll say that I believe White was in the restricted area. He certainly was there in time to draw the contact. We'll have a great look at it here from under the basket. It was Williams, actually, and it's a bad call. He's not in the restricted area. Nonetheless, Holland will head to the line.
And Holland not really able to get going so far, just 4 points on 2 of 6 shooting after 20 points in last week's game. So we'll see if a trip to the line helps him gain some confidence.
Yeah, and what I've noticed is for a player of such experience, so far in this game, he hasn't been patient. He's forced a lot of contested shots, contested layups, turnaround jumpers. He makes his first free throw here. He's got 5 points in the game. Some weird things happening here on the free throw. I'm not even sure what I just saw as it came off the foot of Williams. And if we were out on the soccer pitch, that'd be a great first touch. But it runs out of bounds, and Austin College will get another opportunity here to put points on the board, currently down 10, as they have been for a while. Dick collects the inbounds pass in the backcourt. He'll work against Tanner Brown. Screen coming from Jones Jr. Dick doesn't use it. He wants to get to his left hand, and he's been effective when he has. Another 2 points there for him, up to 6 in the game. Trinity running the floor, though, going the other way, and Owens gets the and one. Beautiful full court pass leading to a score. We'll get a look at it. A.J. Clark, his court vision unmatched by anyone in this conference, for my money, leading to 2 more points.
Yeah, you know, we've talked a lot about the fast break points for the Tigers, but a lot of them have been off of long misses or turnovers, so that's understandable. But right there, if you're Austin College, that is unacceptable off a miss to not get back defensively and allow an easy bucket. Not what you want to see if you're the Kangaroos.
A couple of changes for Coach Smith as Tyler Peavy and Enzo Seiki will be in for the Tigers now. White applying pressure, trapping with Clark. Pass finds Dick, who thought about the long 2. Dumps it off to Holland instead. Holland turns, spinning in the lane, and did well to create some separation there with his defender. And he may be getting in some type of rhythm here, as the lead is single digits for the first time in some time.
Yeah, definitely his best looking shot of the game so far, looking comfortable. Absolutely pressing at the start of this game like you talked about.
Beautiful off-the-ball movement from Clark, but his fadeaway shot is blocked. It was great movement, as I said, for Clark, who found himself open down low. Pass maybe just a split second late meant that he had to fade away on the shot. Came up way short. And a unfortunate step out of bounds from the Austin College perspective. Jalen Clemens, averaging 8.5 points a game, adding 3.5 boards as well. That time, stepping on the line. Clark, crossover onto the left hand, back to the right, dumps it off for Peavy, the senior, getting some minutes here in the first half. Seiki down low, spins, the fadeaway jumper, tough shot, nearly got it to go, and White was fighting to keep it alive, but instead Holland goes the other way for the visitors. He loves to spin, and this time he spins and wins at the cup. Every opportunity he gets, he wants to back down the defender and spin into that right-handed jumper. He's finding rhythm with it here. 7 points now in the game. Seiki's effort no good. Ashton Owens fighting for the rebound down low. Peavy's able to secure it. Clark, wide open 3, steps into it and puts too much on it. 3-point shooting not strong so far for either team in this game.
Now in a big few minutes right here for Austin College, despite the low scoring half, a big opportunity to cut the lead. They're down just 7 with 4.5 to go. We'll see if they can cut the lead even more as we head to the half.
Just 1 of 9 shooting from 3 for the two teams as Seiki's able to draw the contact and pick up the charge. You see Holland with a 360 layup there. And Jenkins back into the game for Trinity. They'll be hoping for more from the SCAC Player of the Year in the final minutes of this first half. Two Roos trying to pressurize Jenkins. Clark able to get it into him easily. Jenkins 2 points on 1 of 3 shooting, 2 boards, 2 assists, 2 fouls as well. Has to be careful not to pick up that third before the break. Good movement this time, finds Peavy underneath. And Dick was able to block his shot, but second time that Trinity have tried that exact play, this time from the opposite side. It's nearly worked both times. It's all down to timing, isn't it, Brian? It's just so bang, bang down low as Clark draws the contact, and I think he'll head to the line now.
Yeah, and Jenkins with the right idea. You mentioned he only has 2 points, but not forcing anything, trying to find an open teammate, and he did, but just like you mentioned, a half second too late.
Clark will head to the line. Trinity currently being led offensively by Seiki with 8 points, 5 rebounds as well. 6 points for Tristan Dick, the most besides Holland, I believe. Holland leading the way with 7 for the Roos. He's on the bench at the moment with 4 to go in the first half, and Trinity up by 7. White gets some contact on the ball, disrupts the dribble. Austin College still has it. Dick on the right wing. Goodman to Dick for the three-pointer late in the shot clock, and that's the first make from behind the arc for the Roos today. And it's a big one. It pulls them within 4. Trinity with no points in the last 2 minutes, their second straight scoring drought. They haven't been able to run the floor like they did early in the game, and they haven't been able to create the shots they'd like down low. Seiki fighting for this one, top of the key, able to secure it. Kicks it out to Clark, this time corner 3 to answer. Comes off the front of the rim, and Peavy called for the loose ball foul. That'll send Austin College to the line. And they are right back in this game, Brian.
Yeah, right back in it. Just down 4 with 3 minutes as we head to another media timeout. If you're Austin College, this is exactly what you want to see, and got 3 minutes to wrap up the half in a positive way.
Final stretch of the first half of action here in the SCAC semifinals. You see the final regular season standings. Trinity coming in with the #1 seed and coming in on a 9-game win streak. They dropped the opener to the second place team, St. Thomas, and they haven't looked back since. They played a close game against Schreiner in the quarterfinals, and this one looks to be another closely contested defensive affair between Austin College and Trinity, who currently leads by 4. The big stat that I noticed over the break is Jones Jr. with another 0 for 2 from the line, his second already in this game, is that Austin College have picked up the rebounding in a big way. Since it was 10-5, Trinity, Jenkins, step back 3 off to the right. Austin College have since brought that back to 18 to 17 in the rebounds department.
Yeah, and Austin College forcing a lot more misses on Trinity's side, allowing them to get those defensive rebounds.
Goodman drives, left his feet, but found the teammate. And another offensive foul. You heard the audible groan from Caleb Jenkins, who's committed a couple of those in this game. Took it right in the chest from Jonathan Lawrence. Jones Jr. will depart for Michael Holland, who's back in the game.
Another long scoring drought for the Tigers. They haven't scored in 3.5 minutes, so this time Austin College taking a little bit more of advantage of that. We'll see if the Tigers can get back on the board.
It was defense to offense, as it has been so often for Trinity this season. Allowed them to build that early advantage. I think it swelled as high as 13. And there's a foul off the ball called against Roberts, I think. Maybe Seiki on the push-off, we'll see. Let's say Seiki with the elbow. Rex King taking the contact. Tough call against the Trinity forward. Nearly broke that scoring drought.
Got to credit the Kangaroo defenders willing to take those charges. Not an easy thing to do by any means.
Austin College with 2 minutes before the break to try and draw this game level. Holland looked to grab 2 points there, but he was off the mark. PV called for a foul away from the play. And that'll send Jones Jr. to the line, who's 1 of 4 today. Takes a second to gather himself before the first free throw and knocks it down. Very intentionally going through his shooting motion there after a tough start at the line. One for 2. And he's now 2 for 6 in the game. Roberts will bring it forward for Trinity. Cross-court pass to Hanley. Austin College come flying back. Tanner Brown just 4 points in the game so far. He'll be looking to make a bigger impact in the second half, as will Caleb Jenkins, who's on it now. Steps back for a long 2, comes up short. And Austin College could draw level here with the 3-pointer. Holland loses control and throws it away to the waiting arms of Tanner Brown. Now Trinity can run it. Caleb Jenkins pulls up for 3, bounces high off the rim. Rebound secured by Peavy. Jenkins, same spot, same result as he comes up short this time. And Roberts, I believe it was, grabbed the offensive rebound again and got contact on his follow-up shot. Jenkins just can't get going in this one.
Yeah, the Conference Player of the Year now 1 for 7 from the field. And right there, a couple step-back jump shots that you can tell he's just trying to force it up there, trying to get going any way he can.
Roberts' first free throw, no good. Scoring drought continues. Almost 5 minutes since the Trinity Tigers have made a field goal. And when you look at that, it's remarkable that they're still in front by 3.
Yeah, been a very low-scoring half. Very interesting to see these two teams struggling to put points up.
Holland, left wing. Tries to go back into Roberts. Dumps it off for King, whose baseline jumper is good. And that pulls the Roos within 2. Trinity averaging 76 a game this season, way below that so far in this first half. Backdoor cut from Peavy is ignored by Roberts. Hanley kicks out to Peavy. Straightaway 3 for Owens. And it's off to the right. Tigers can't get the 3 ball to fall. 1 for 10 now from behind the arc. And a lot of that, I think, it's just the wrong players taking it from a Trinity perspective. Tanner Brown yet to attempt a 3-pointer. Under a minute to go here. Holland drives into Owens. And Owens taking another charge here. Second he's drawn in this game. And there's going to be a quick timeout here for Coach Smith as he's going to draw something up for his team in the final 31 seconds. They'll be able to hold for essentially the last shot if they want. There'll be just about a 2-second difference between the shot and game clock. They'll be looking to break a field goal drought. That's going to be at 6 minutes by the time the Tigers get a shot away here.
And if you're Austin College, you have to be thrilled with how the game has turned out up until this point. Low scoring first half, but the Kangaroos are not a team that lights it up offensively. They shoot a conference worst 26.5% from three, second worst in the conference from the free throw line. So they really can't afford to get down double digits like they were earlier, but they've done a good job reining that deficit in. Now they're down just two.
Yeah, it's been a steady journey back for the Roos after Trinity lit it up early. A lot of transition buckets. Hanley on the dribble is holding it here, dealing with the attentions of Lawrence. It's not making life easy for the junior guard. Kicks it to Brown. They look to get him open for three. Steps back to his right. And not even Tanner Brown can get one to fall. Offensive rebound secured by Roberts. And he's going to get a and one opportunity here. Big putback for Abdullah Roberts with under a second to go. Owens kept it alive. Roberts with the acrobatic finish takes the contact from King. And Trinity can't hit a three in this game at the moment, 1 of 11, but they can get three the old-fashioned way here through Roberts at the free throw line, and they do. Not how they drew it up, but that's pretty much all they could have hoped for in the final possession out of the timeout. And the number 1 seed Trinity Tigers will take a 5-point advantage into the break in what's been a low-scoring defensive affair so far. Holland leading the way for Austin College with 9 points. As you see, his heave at the buzzer was online but came up short. And for Trinity, leading the way scoring is Enzo Seiki, 8 points on 3 of 6. Also with 5 rebounds to his name. Has to be careful, though, in the second half with 3 fouls. Brian, your final thoughts on this interesting first half?
Yeah, I mentioned it just before both teams headed to the locker room. Austin College has to be happy with where they're at, down just 5. You know, they're not a team that's going to make a lot of threes. They struggle at the free throw line, but they grind out games defensively. They lead the conference, forcing 20 turnovers a game, and we're seeing that pay dividends so far in the first half.
Absolutely. We'll be excited to have a look at what happens in the second half. Ryan Figger and Brian Yantelson, you're watching the Tiger Network. So same starting fives for both teams, both coaches coming out of the halftime break. It's Trinity that leads by 5. Ryan Figert, joined once again by Brian Jenselson. You're watching the Tiger Network SCAC semifinal action on the men's basketball side. Brian, what do you think the two coaches would have done adjustment-wise at the break?
I think for Trinity, you've got to commend the effort getting 15 points off of turnovers and getting 8 points off of offensive rebounds. But you've got to find a way to do better from the three-point line. And Austin College, make your free throws and get out defensively like they are right now. Holland on the break is able to lay it up and bring Austin College to within 3. They've got to do just that, force the turnovers like they do so well during the year and get out and run.
Seiki, the corner 3, looking to answer, no good. Again, another miss from Trinity from behind the arc, but we'll get an open look from the right wing. This time Hanley, too strong, can't get it to go. It's a 3-point game, and the Tigers haven't had their 3-point game today whatsoever.
Another thing I'm looking for is Enzo Seiki's the leading scorer for the Tigers, but he has 8 points and hasn't scored since the 11-minute mark in the first half. So
good
a
defense
long
down low
drought
there from Roberts. Might have injured himself in the process. He slapped it away, and I think he touched the ball while he was laying on the baseline. So it's Austin College in possession here. Just 9 seconds to shoot, though. They'll have to go quickly. Get it into Jones Jr. 5 to shoot now. Back to Joe. He's working against Jenkins. Long 3 taken by Dick, and it doesn't touch rim. Shot clock violation there against the Roos. They had a chance to draw the game even with that deep 3. They're shooting just 1 of 7 from 3. It's not been a shooting gallery so far today for either team.
Yeah, that's definitely not the type of possession they want to have. They do not want to be forced into a late shot clock 3-point attempt.
Carter Larimore ended the game for the first time. He checks in for Roberts. Might want to get that elbow checked out after falling to the floor moments ago. Here's Seiki inside, gets his shot blocked. Good defense that time from Holland, and he's the one that could run the floor. A.J. Clark defending. Now down in the low block. And the bounce pass finds a teammate. Joe takes the corner 3, and it's a tie game. Just the second 3-point make from Austin College. It's Joshua Joe. Trinity wants to regain the lead, and they'll have a chance from the free throw line. Seiki takes contact on the way up. And it's been a long road back for Austin College, who trailed by as many as 13. But they've got themselves back level here with the 3-point make, which has been rare, to say the least. Seiki comes up short with the first free throw. Trinity just needs something to get the energy going. This is usually such a high-energy team, and it was in warm-ups today. It was in the first 5 minutes today. The energy just seems to be sucked out of the Tigers at the moment. They regain a 1-point lead there from Seiki, who leads the way with 9 points.
And something we've talked about across broadcast in Trinity sports is the lack of fans at games can really hamper that energy, and right now Trinity having to create their own and not doing a great job.
Larimore contests the 3 from Holland. No good. Chance maybe in transition for the Tigers. Jenkins thought he might have got a charge, or excuse me, a foul. Instead commits a charge. The official behind the basket initially signaled that he was in the restricted area. We'll see now on the replay. He's definitely not. But he also gets set very late. Third offensive foul against Jenkins, who's had a rough go of it so far today.
And that sends Jenkins to the bench, so just 2 points on the day. SCAC Player of the Year. Quiet so far today.
Yeah, on the receiving end of a couple of 50-50 calls, I think, that have gone against him as Joe coughs that one up down low. Chance for Trinity to run the floor. Hanley nearly has it poked away from him by Dick. Has his shot blocked. The follow-up from Clark, no good. And even when they can get out and run now, Trinity not finishing it off at the bucket.
Yeah, 14 fast break points for the Tigers in the first half, but since about halfway through the first half, the Kangaroos are just doing a much better job getting back quickly and contesting every shot. Nothing easy anymore.
Holland backs down his defender, finds an open Joe from the right wing for three, and that's one he'll want back after making the corner three moments ago. Couldn't have asked for a better look that time from the wing. Ball movement here from the Tigers, but it's poked away from Seiki, and he's the only one back defending against Dick, who goes to his offhand and makes it look comfortable, regaining the lead for the Roos.
12th turnover forced by the Kangaroos, resulting in a fast break opportunity.
Hanley back to Brown, gets his shot blocked from three. He'll get another look wide open, and he doesn't have it going. Wide open look from Joe from the left wing off to the right. And it's just a collection of missed threes at the moment from both teams, but Holland collects the offensive rebound and scoops and scores. Biggest lead of the game for the Roos, 3 points now. Trinity just 1 point so far in the half. They get it back to Brown down low, and he'll get a chance at three the old-fashioned way. A give and go with A.J. Clark, and Tanner Brown will head to the line. Could draw the game back even here. You see the disbelief on the face of Jones Jr., and I might agree with him there, as he was pretty straight up. Good defending that time for him. But nonetheless, Brown will head to the line when we return. So Tanner Brown will have a chance to draw Trinity back level with a free throw here, trying to complete the and one. Currently 37-36 to the visiting Austin College Kangaroos. Brown played a big role in Trinity's defeat of Austin College earlier this season. Added 17 points off the bench on 7 of 9 shooting, including 3 of 5 from 3. Good energy here defensively from Trinity as White comes back into the game, bringing it off the bench. Holland turns and finishes in the lane. So good at that. Backs down his defender, spins, creates the separation. Very comfortable shooting those off-balance looks. Jenkins gets into the lane, kicks it out for a corner three from Brown, and it rattles home. A much-needed three for Trinity. And that's the offense we've seen so often this season. Jenkins drive and kick. Tanner Brown, open three, bingo. Could have been a travel call there. Instead, Clemens got the I'm doing it again. The right-handed effort away, left wing. Tanner Brown couldn't get the back-to-back three to go. Roberts will pull from straight away, comes up short. Trinity getting all the offensive rebounds. Jenkins this time steps back to his right for three, and he hits. 5 points now for the SCAC Player of the Year. 43-39. They haven't really improved the three-point shooting, but they're getting more looks.
A totally different team out of that timeout. I don't know what Coach Smith said to them, but the energy off the bench we were talking about during the timeout, non-existent. throughout the game, but now we hear the bench loud and clear, 2 3-pointers. And great defense right there as Jenkins fouled.
I got to say, a lot of credit goes to Jalen White off the bench. He's come in for 2 spells in this game and immediately brought it in terms of intensity on defense. Led to some points for him as well, 3 points in the game, a couple of rebounds. The impact he can have in terms of the mindset of the team is remarkable. As Brown and Jenkins are in the backcourt, they're the two that have knocked down threes recently for Trinity. We're now at 3 of 19 from behind the arc, 2 of 10 for Austin College. Here's another look as Brown slips the screen, knocks down the open 3. You knew as soon as he left his hand. And Trinity are back here in the second half, out in front by 7 now, and the energy returns to the building. It was something they surely drew up in the backcourt as they had a second to chat. Brown slips the screen and makes no mistake with the open look heading into the timeout. Trinity with all the momentum. So out of the last timeout, Trinity came flying with a 9-0 run. You don't know, like you said, what Coach Smith said, but it certainly worked, whatever it was. A couple of changes in the lineup and a change in fortune from behind the three-point arc leads to a Trinity 7-point lead in the timeout for Austin College. I saw head coach Rodney Wecker with his palms to the sky thinking, how have we let them have so many opportunities with offensive rebounds? As Joe loses this one, White scrambles on the deck to try and grab it, and it runs out of play before Jalen Clemens can control it. Again, Jalen White putting his body on the line, this time getting the ball back. And
Yeah.
It's going to be full court pressure now from Austin College.
A much more frantic pace offensively and defensively after just 1 3-pointer made in the first half. 3 in the last minute and a half for the Tigers, so everything picking up energy-wise.
Owens back to Brown. Two makes from him from behind the arc. This time he tried to go inside. Thought he was fouled. No call from the official. And the wide open player underneath is blocked by Tanner Brown. It falls to Jones Jr. for an easy 2 points. That was a big block from Brown against Goodman. First block of the game for Trinity against 6 for Austin College. Jenkins hands off to White. To Owens, right wing. Crossover back onto his left hand. Good defense this possession from Austin College as the shot clock's in single digits. Jenkins with the ball in his hand gets onto his right at the cup and finishes. Great work from Jenkins as the offense broke down. He had to do it himself. And as he has so often this year, does it well. Brown defending in the corner. Clemens left-handed dribble. Wanted to go to Jones Jr. down low. The pass was off the mark. Brown out in transition with Owens to his right. Owens against a couple of players is fouled. Couldn't finish through the contact. He'll head to the line. See Jenkins late in the shot clock. Left-handed dribble, right-handed finish. And he's up to 7 points now. Just 3 of 9 shooting, but 2 makes recently. And he's feeling a lot better out there on the floor. Playing with 3 fouls as Owens knocks down the first.
And as Owen gets ready to attempt his second free throw, which he makes, we see a return for Trinity's fast break offense. It went away for a bit. Austin College had really adjusted, but Tigers are back and running in the open court.
And they're doing it right now without Clark or Hanley on the floor. Backcourt of Brown and Jenkins. Jenkins defending this time on the baseline jumper, no good. Good work down low from Jones, who grabs the offensive rebound away from Roberts and finds Clemens underneath for an easy 2 points. 2 straight makes down the floor for the Roos. First points of the game for Clemens.
So important right now if you're Austin College to slow the game down. You work so hard to keep this game close. As able to force that miss, and Holland goes up the court.
Yeah, you saw Coach Smith palms to the sky there, wondering where the foul call was. Clemens, corner 3, and it's good. Austin College getting themselves back into this game. They've played so much of this one behind, but they've been able to get back in it already once. Currently trail by 4. Jenkins, what a tough shot. Tough make for Jenkins. And there's going to be a timeout, but we'll want to have another look at that from Caleb Jenkins. He gets himself into the corner, working against Goodman, steps back, and knocks it down over the outstretched arm of Goodman. Caleb Jenkins now into double figures. He's come back in the second half with a big performance, and he's got Trinity out in front by 7. Austin College taking their time in the timeout, as Trinity were eager to get back underway. You saw a conference there between Jenkins, White, and Owens. Wonder what might have been said in that one. Maybe a offensive play drawn up for the next time the Tigers have the ball. Right now it's Austin College in possession, trailing by 7 with 11 minutes to go in the SCAC semifinals. One team season will end here today. That one's poked away from Holland. Last touch, though, by Trinity. Stays maroon ball. Brown and Jenkins into double figures after some hot scoring here in the second half. And a good finish that time on the left hand from Holland. There's one criticism of Trinity over this recent run. It's that Austin College have found some easy baskets in the lane. Playing without a real big man on the floor right now are the Tigers.
Yeah, and enough to keep the Kangaroos right back into this game. Just down 5 despite the frenzied run by the Tigers and the several 3-point shots made. They're just up 5. So Austin College just got to slow this game down and get back to the grind it out type of game that they like.
Yeah, notably as Clemens picks up the foul there, that's his 4th, and Jones Jr. also has 4. As Brown pulls for 3, comes up short. And the rebound secured by Dick. Running the floor now, Clemens, and he's been on fire as of late. 9 points in the game now for Clemens. 7, excuse me. And it's a 3-point game just like that. And Owens is not going to be able to continue as he limps off the floor. Didn't see what happened, but Hanley will replace him as Trinity forced to use an injury timeout there. I don't think Coach Smith wanted to change anything as this lineup was getting the offense going, but Hanley not a bad option to turn to off the bench. Jenkins drives, gets onto his right hand, and he's fouled. Goodman, the offender. Maybe bailed Jenkins out a little bit there as he got too deep and his layup came off the bottom of the backboard.
But I think if you're Coach Smith, you have to be happy to see Caleb Jenkins driving to the basket. He has made a couple threes, including that tough one before the timeout, but you want to see him drive to the basket and force his way to the line. So something good usually happens if you can get to the rim. So either you're shooting free throws or you're making an easy layup.
Yeah, we saw him also kick it out to an open Tanner Brown for 3 earlier in the game as well. Of course, he may be a bit more hesitant to drive after he's picked up 3 offensive fouls. Second free throw rattles home. But he's found his intensity that he's played with all season here in the second half. White disrupts the pass, but does so without touching it, so the ball thrown away, and it'll be gray ball. Brown inbounds to Jenkins in the backcourt. Trinity will look to improve on a 5-point lead as we hit the 10-minute mark, entering the fourth quarter, so to speak. Hanley open underneath, kicks out to an open Tanner Brown from the right corner, and he's heating up, and that's trouble for Austin College. You see the great ball movement. Finds Hanley underneath, could have gone up with a shot of his own, but he saw Tanner Brown open for 3, and that usually results in 3 points. Up to 16 now in the game. He hurt Austin College for 17 earlier this year. Plenty of time to better that. Trinity thought they may have had a turnover there, but Austin College able to hold on to it. Need to keep scoring to avoid Trinity building another big lead. White coming across to break up the pass, was able to do so, and Brown wriggles it through to Jenkins. Now 3-on-2 on the fast break. Behind the back pass from Jenkins, and White wasn't ready for the flare that time from the SCAC Player of the Year.
Gotta love the effort, though, from both teams. This is a SCAC semifinal game. Both teams have their season on the line, and they are not going to leave a single ounce of energy in the tank.
Yeah, going to have a whole week to rest up and recover as well for the final, whether it be here or hosted down in Houston by St. Thomas. Trinity, with that #1 seed, have the opportunity to host all 3 games if they make the final. Brown coming across to poke it away. And luckily for the Tigers, the foul goes against him and not Jenkins, who's already on 3. Just a second against Tanner Brown. Goodman taking his time and taking too long. No, they call Seiki for a foul away from the play. You have to think that clock in the referee's head was ticking down there on Goodman. He gets it in quickly this time to Dick, who started the game strong with 2 big layups early on. Alley-oop pass that time from Goodman to Jones Jr., laid in.
But that possession not only results in 2 points for Austin College, but also 4th personal foul for Enzo Seiki, and not one you really want to get. Didn't really earn it per se, just dead ball foul. And we'll see if he stays in the game with 8:25 remaining.
White loses that one going up. He is still out there at the moment, although Clark is poised to come into this game, possibly for him. Dick stops and pops in the lane. Comes up short, and Hanley can drive now. He's got a couple of players up there with him, and Seiki ended up with an Austin College Kangaroo on his back as the pump fake really sold the defense there.
And impressive to see that patience by Seiki. We've mentioned he hasn't really scored a field goal since 11 minutes in the first half, and he has 4 fouls defensively, but still showing patience, not forcing anything, and now gets rewarded with a trip to the free throw line.
It's White that takes a seat for A.J. Clark. Seiki, chance here to get in the double digits. And they'll say it wasn't a shooting foul, which it only wasn't a shooting foul because Seiki couldn't get it up as the Austin College player was all over his back. Clark pokes away the loose ball, and Jenkins able to secure it, and they bail out Seiki for the miss. Brown underneath. And last touch off the Kangaroos. And a player down in some pain here. I think it's Jones. No. Tristan Dick staying down. If we could run that replay one more time, maybe. I didn't see what happened, but he seems to be holding his face. Let's see. Yeah, just took an elbow from teammate Rex King there. Definitely a painful one for Tristan Dick. So we have a injury timeout on the floor. 8 minutes to go. Trinity leads 58-52. You're watching the Tiger Network. So for the 5 starters out there at the moment for Coach Smith and Trinity, Tanner Brown in place of Abdullah Roberts, and understandably so, as Brown leads the way for Trinity with 16 points on 6 of 13 shooting. Clark inbounds to Brown. He's trapped in the corner here. Dumps it off to Jenkins. Here's Seiki still playing with those 4 fouls. Has to be careful. Pump fake, and the effort no good. Holland defending and rebounding there for the Roos. Holland, hesitation, goes baseline, and a great cut from Jalen Clemens. Great cut that time from him, and deserved 2 points off the assist from Holland.
And a great pass. It looked like Holland was going to step out of bounds there, but he was midair and found the driving kangaroo.
Hanley went backdoor that time against Clemens, but it's Clark, floater in the lane. Left-handed effort, no good. 4-point lead for Trinity. In a game that has been close for a majority ever since Austin College got back into it early in the first half. It's been a single-digit lead either way. Seiki takes a bump from King, goes to the floor, resulting in a corner 3 look for Austin College, and they're back within 1 as Jonathan Lawrence knocks it down. 58-57 now. Those are the first points of the game for Lawrence. Seiki fighting for possession down low. Sorry, Brian.
No, every time the Tigers have seemingly gotten some momentum as Seiki misses a layup and gets his own and gets fouled once again. Every time the Tigers feel like they're going to widen their lead and really get going, Austin College has responded, and they've done a great job. They find themselves down just 1 with 6.5 to go.
And good news for the Roos is that Tristan Dick is ready to check back into the game after taking that shot to the head moments ago. Seiki missed the free throw last trip. He's looking to get into double digits. He's just 3 of 10 shooting on the day. Now 4 of 6 on free throws. There you see Dick and Jones Jr. back in. He and Clemens playing with 4 fouls for the Roos. Seiki likewise for Trinity, 1 away from fouling out. And 11 points now in the game as Seiki goes 2 for 2. Pushes the lead back out to 3. Trinity in the bonus. Single bonus at the moment. Clark making them work in the backcourt here, and it's going to be a violation against the Roos. The energy from Clark and Jenkins traps Dick in the backcourt. And Trinity forces a big turnover there.
One of those violations you're not used to seeing all too often.
Unless you watch Trinity women's basketball, and then you see it about 5 times a game from the opposition. That full court pressure that we see so often on the women's side. 4 p.m. tip-off later against these 2 teams in the SCAC semifinals as well, as Jenkins turns it over. Austin College looking to make it count. Left wing 3 for Dick, no good. Rebound secured by Jones Jr. And they can get back into their offensive set with 15 to shoot. Down 3, could tie it here. And Dick will pull a long three off to the right. 2 misses for him in this possession. And foul, I believe, against Austin College. Jenkins maybe bleeding. He's struggling with something in the face. And Jones will have to leave the game here. I don't think he's aware yet. That was his 5th foul, and that's a big loss for Austin College because he's been really big grabbing rebounds on both ends in the second half. He leaves with 10 points, 9 rebounds, 1 assist, and 5 fouls. Handshake with the Trinity coaching staff is with 5 minutes, 46 seconds to go. Jones Jr. has played his final part in this one. A.J. Clark, a 1-on-1 opportunity here. First effort is nothing but net. That sets up another look here from the charity stripe for Clark. Clark led the scoring for Trinity in round 1 of this tournament with 22, including 6 of 7 free throws. And he knocks down both here. He's not contributed as much offensively, 6 points on 2 of 9 shooting, but he is 2 of 3 on the free throw line. Clark, big defending there, and he doesn't like the calls. He got a hand on the ball. It's going to be Tristan Dick to the line. There's certainly contact on the body there. Up top, in terms of the hands, it was a clean block. Just the second foul against Clark. Seiki still out there with 4. Coach Smith trusting him to play. Dick's first free throw, no good. He puts his hands on his head there. He knows every point matters. Trinity haven't made a field goal in the last 4:21. Their points have all come from the free throw line. As Dick goes 1 of 2. Jenkins has to create separation here as the Roos push the pressure higher up the court. He does advance it. Hands off to Brown, right wing. Clark back to Brown. Open 3 off to the left. Near miss that time from Brown. Still a 4-point lead for the home team. Holland, crossover onto his left hand, finds Dick. Likes to spin as well. And Jenkins called for a foul. That's his 4th. He made sure Holland didn't have an easy 2 points underneath.
Easy is not a word I would associate with Austin College and free throws for sure. They've already missed 8 free throws today, shooting just 42.9% from the stripe. So if you're Trinity, definitely want to make them earn it from there.
First one, no good. Last season they shot 60% from the free throw line. This season, not much better. Although in the first round game against Southwestern, they shot 74% on free throws. Nowhere near that mark today, currently at 40. As Holland dribbles once and prepares for the second attempt, and it's good.
Yeah, and with 5 minutes left and Trinity up just 3, we're likely to see plenty of free throws on both sides. So this game might come down to who can make their free throws.
A.J. Clark, top of the key, has Seiki down low in position. Seiki, couple of pump fakes, goes up with the left hand, another miss. Has to be careful not to foul as he is looking for the rebound. And they've just hit Caleb Jenkins with his 5th foul on another offensive foul. We'll see what for. I'll say for a push-off, and certainly sold by the Austin College player, but that's a big miss for Trinity as Jenkins really had it going here in the second half, and they'll have to see this game out without their star player. Jenkins wants a review on it, but Coach Smith says it's not going to come.
Yeah, and you could see Coach Smith, as soon as he saw that fifth foul called, put his palms to his face and just distraught, losing his leading scorer and the SCAC Player of the Year with 4.5 to go here in the semifinal game against Austin College.
It's White that comes into the game for Jenkins. Holland thought about the corner three, instead dumps it off to Dick. Hanley against Holland here. Hand in the face as Holland spins and takes the fadeaway. No good. Comes up way short. White can get to the bucket here, and he does. He finishes without any contact from Clemens, who wanted to take the charge. And White continues to have a big impact off the bench here, coming in for Trinity's star player and getting it done himself.
Yeah, and a great adjustment to not draw the offensive foul. We've seen so many drawn by Austin College that he did a great job going up in the air but not charging.
Goodman on the dribble. Plenty of players crowded around the top of the key as Goodman goes down low for Clemens. Clemens working against Seiki. A.J. Clark coming to help. Goes back to Holland. 5 on the shot clock. Goodman in the lane. Has his shot blocked by Seiki. A clean effort from the Trinity player. And going the other way, Hanley at the cup, turning it into 2 points. Great work at both ends for the Tigers. See, Hanley catches the pass, does it himself. And Austin College throws it away. And Trinity building momentum even without Jenkins on the floor. 7-point lead now for the home team as we head into the timeout. 3:26 to go. You're watching the SCAC semifinals on the Tiger Network. So 3:26 remaining here. Trinity leading by 7 after Ben Hanley transition layup moments ago before the timeout. Be Seiki, Brown, Clark, Hanley, and White keeping their place on the floor for Trinity. As it's Tiger ball after the turnover from the Roos. Chance to build on this 7-point advantage. Clark, right wing, dumps it off to Seiki, loses control of it for a moment. White gets his defender up in the air with the pump fake and gets to the rim, finishing with the right hand. Great pump fake there as you see Jonathan Lawrence biting on it hard. And that Trinity lead up near double digits once again. Here's Holland working against White. Gets past one defender, but Tanner Brown with a good help side defense. And foul by Jalen Clemens. So ahead to the other side of the floor for free throws for White.
And Austin College has held it together for so long in this game, staying close, but you could kind of feel it slipping away with 2:49 left. Now they're down 9. And Jalen White, spark plug, heading to the free throw line.
3 of 4 from the floor today, 1 of 2 from the line. King will come back into the game for Austin College, who are currently led by Holland, as you'd expect if you're familiar with the Roos. He's got 18 points on 8 of 17 and 12 rebounds, 5 assists as well. Filling up the stat sheet today. And White gets quite a few kind bounces there on the rim for the first free throw to go down.
Right there, White with his 8th point. Going to try to get his 9th, but even 9 points, 4 rebounds, but it seems so much more than that. You've mentioned a couple times the energy he's brought. It feels like every play that he's been involved in has been positive for the Tigers.
2 makes at the line, and the Trinity advantage swells to 11. White harrying Holland in the backcourt. He's able to split A.J. Clark as well. Tristan Dick, left wing 3. They need this one to go, but it comes off the right rim, and it heads down the other end, Trinity ball. And the energy has just gone out of the Austin College team. Ever since really they lost Jones Jr., who was their presence inside and was keeping a lot of plays alive with offensive rebounds. No excuse, though, as Trinity have also lost their leading scorer, in Caleb Jenkins. Seiki kicks it out to Tanner Brown, who take the baseline jumper. Thought he had it, but came off the rim. And Austin College will look to run in transition, but A.J. Clark able to tip the pass away. Looks one way, goes the other way, and White is into double figures. Off the bench, 11 points for Jalen White. A.J. Clark setting him up so well there. And back in live action, A.J. Clark's tipped it away once again. But last touch off of him. And it stays with Austin College, who have a mountain to climb here in the final 2 minutes to keep their season alive. See the effort that time from Clark. 21 seconds to shoot, but it's going to have to come quickly for the Roos. Dick takes the screen from Holland, gets inside, and there's going to be a foul against White on the floor. 1-1 here. Actually goes against A.J. Clark, not Jalen White. Goodman comes back in for Joe.
1-1 for Tristan Dick.
Tristan Dick needs to make this first free throw of the 1-1. Long look at the rim, and he does knock it down. Sophomore guard from Houston, Texas. Goes 2 for 2. A couple of big makes that time for the Roos, and he will depart for Loero.
That snaps a 10-0 run for Trinity. Could not have come at a better time, and now Holland dives on the floor, gets the ball back for them.
Pump fake the 3. White called for the reach, and Holland will head to the line. It was A.J. Clark who miscontrolled the inbounds pass. That's even led to this possession at all. Tigers can't get too comfortable. Up by 11 here. Could cut it down to 9 if Holland can make both here. Makes the first of the 1-1. I'll send Rex King back on defense as Loera stands in next to Seiki on the block. Holland knocks down both. He's into 20 points, 12 rebounds, 5 assists. But Trinity here running the floor. A.J. Clark back to Seiki in the slam dunk. Puts the exclamation point on a strong second half from the Tigers. No look pass and the one-handed finish from Seiki as Dick gets 2 points to go at the other end, and we take a timeout. Rodney Wecker asking for time as Trinity has a 9-point advantage with 1:21 left to go. See if they can see it out when we return. 1:21 remaining in one of these teams' seasons. Trinity holding the 9-point advantage at the moment, and we'll see how soon Austin College turns to the foul game. It's White going up from the right side. And goaltending, I believe, called against Austin College there. Don't see that one too often in the D3 level, at least. As White gets another steal, and he can turn it into 2 points for Tanner Brown at the cup, who's fouled by Tristan Dick. Took contact in the face there, and you got to think 2 free throws here would ice it for the home team.
Yeah, interesting to see the Tigers going so quickly on offense. Time is on their side, but doesn't look like it'll make too much of a difference as they're up 11 with 1 minute and 7 seconds left.
A little bit confused here as to what Tanner Brown is being asked. Maybe just want to make sure he's all right if he took contact to the face. Looks fine as he knocks down the first free throw. And he's up to 17 points off the bench. He and White have really led the charge in the second half. They didn't get the start. They've had a huge impact here off the bench. White now up to 13 points on 5 of 6 shooting, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, a few steals as well. Brown's second free throw rolls home. He leads Trinity scoring with 18 points. And the Tiger pressure here in the backcourt making it difficult for Austin College to get into a set. King tracks it down. Dick has to jump to catch his pass. It's kicked out to Holland on the left wing. Dumps it off for a corner 3 that A.J. Clark's able to block, but they'll say he fouled him on the 3-point attempt. Lawrence will head to the line for 3 attempts here with the clock stopped. And as the result looks assured, the first free throw is no good. We want to commend Michael Holland on a terrific college career, the 6'3" senior out of Waxahachie. He was first team all SCAC this year. He's averaged 14 career points per game and 8 boards as well. And he's put on a big showing here, but looks like it's going to be in defeat. 20 points, 12 rebounds, 5 assists.
Yeah, absolutely. Holland even received 1 vote for Player of the Year in the conference, so just had an excellent year and career, and he's let it all out on the floor today. After a slow start, but he picked it up and helped his team stay close throughout most of the game.
Trinity content to dribble this one down, and finally the foul does come from Luera. Hanley with the big Steph Curry-esque floater there after the whistle, nearly got it to go. But it looks like we're going to have more basketball on the men's side at least. Next weekend, the SCAC championship game now sets up between Trinity University and the University of St. Thomas, who's the only team to hand them a defeat this season. That came in game number 1 of the year, and it's also going to be the final game of the year here in Calgard Gymnasium. Second one no good for Hanley. It's a 13-point lead for Trinity with under 30 seconds to go. Holland will pull the 3, comes up short. Clark secures the board, and that should do it. King will foul. But it seems to be in desperation here for the Roos, as there's no way back at this point. And Caleb Jenkins down at the very bottom of your screen celebrating. He fouled out with 5 minutes to go in this game, and we thought that might prove troublesome for Trinity, but it's been their bench players that have stepped up, White and Brown, to fill that scoring void and get this one over the line, as Clark's first free throw is good.
Yeah, and just shows the depth that Trinity has. Last week, Clark, who's at the line right now, scored 22. And today he only has 7 with that missed free throw, but not to worry. And even with Jenkins fouling out, you've got White, Seiki, Jenkins, and Brown all in double figures for the Tigers.
One final bucket for Michael Holland in his collegiate career, and Trinity will dribble this one out, victorious in the SCAC semifinals. 80-68 is the final score, and the number 1 seed moves on to face the number 2, just how they drew it up in the SCAC final next week here in Calgard Gymnasium. The statistics for Austin College in defeat. You see the team totals on your screen. Leading the way, Michael Holland, 22 points, 13 boards, 5 assists. Dick added 16, 4 boards as well. And the only other player in double figures was Jones Jr. with 10 points, 9 rebounds, but fouled out pretty early in the second half. For Trinity, you mentioned many players in double figures. Tanner Brown leads the way, 18 points on 6 of 15. White off the bench with a very efficient 13 points on 5 of 6. Also grabbed 4 rebounds as well. Seiki with 13, Jenkins with 12. And an all-around team performance. After a slow start in the first half, the offense really came alive in the second, Brian.
Yeah, so many moments and players you could point to, but something that sticks out in my mind at around the 15.5-minute mark in the second half, the Tigers were down 3, and Tanner Brown had been struggling from his typical three-point line, and he drove to the basket and made an and one, got to the line to tie it up, and right after that, the Tigers made 3 consecutive three-point shots, both from Brown and Jenkins, and that really seemed to turn things around and get the Tigers going.
Yep, and they didn't look back after that. You got to say co-players of the game goes to Brown and White, both off the bench, providing points, providing energy on defense as well. But it's been a fun year of Trinity men's basketball, and it's going to continue one more week, and we're excited for that one. But coming up in just over an hour, the women's basketball side of things between Austin College and the favorite Trinity University. We hope you'll join us for that one. So far on the day, the men advance to the final. The women will hope to do the same when we return in just an hour. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Ryan Figert, and I've been joined by Brian Yanselson. You've been watching the Tiger Network.